5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Strange Planet Podcast.
Hey!
Yeah!
Here we are!
We got a new set. It's a new set. Look at this. What do you
Where
think,
are we
people?
at?
Look at this stuff. Whole brand spanking new just for you at home. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Strange Planet Podcast, the strangest of all the podcasts on the strangest of all the planets. We are your hosts. This is...
Corey James.
And I'm Anthony Zevoteck. Hey, look at us now.
Look at me, Mom. I'm on TV.
Yeah.
We were last week.
Well, yeah.
And the week before that.
Yeah.
But not like this.
Right. For everybody listening on YouTube, you've noticed that we upped the whole process. We got a little set going here. Just want to give you guys...
Better camera.
Right. We got a better camera. We want to give you guys the best possible way to enjoy the Strange Planet content. And I was thinking about this on the way over here. To think about where we came from. Like, to think about this baby...
I can't even go back and listen to the first season.
I know.
It's so god-awful.
It's terrible.
And just chaotic and sounds like shit. You can't tell what's going on.
But it's like, to think about this idea that was birthed from you and James sitting at the bar thinking like, oh, hey, we just do this all the time. Let's just have a podcast. Oh, hey, let's get Anthony involved. Sitting in the backyard, sitting outside, sitting in kitchens, doing this. And now, look where we are. We're on YouTube. We got great video. I'm super happy and
hell yeah, man.
impressed with how far we've come.
Yeah.
You know, in
Keep
a long
pushing
time.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, keep pushing it. Keep getting our ideas and keep just going for it. Because you can't, you can have a dream, but until you do it, then it's just a dream. That's it. So now we're in reality, and I love it.
When I had the idea for it, I never really cared to or expected to go any farther than just setting the snowball in front of us and bullshitting.
Right.
So
from we've gone through 8 different microphones, we've gone through cameras and everything, and now we're here. We're here at the Strange Planet Studio.
Yay!
Look at that. We got a good show.
I don't have my phone today, so it's all on you, man.
You don't have a phone at all?
It died.
Oh,
it's somewhere.
He's dead.
I don't even know
it's
where
over there.
It's
That's over there.
It's over there.
Awesome. Well, it looks like I'm running this episode. Let's get started. We have a really good show for you guys today. Super excited about it. So let's do the normal. We'll talk about our comics. Did you buy the comics this weekend?
No.
Okay, and I think that's where you're getting at with this topic. Okay, go ahead and intro us.
So, yeah. Okay, so we love comic books.
Very much.
We love finding comic books, flea markets. We love going and digging and the adventure of it. The one thing we don't really have much around here is comic book shops.
Right.
Specifically for comic books or nerd culture stuff.
I think the closest one is Greensburg, which is about 45 minutes away from where we are.
Right. So this...
Oh, we were frozen for a second. And now we're back.
Oh.
Hey. Uh-oh. See, we knew this was going to be... We knew we were going to have some...
We're all right.
Oh, we're good. All right.
I think it's just... I don't know what it was.
So we have
anyway.
The closest comic book shop is... It's about an hour away. And who wants to travel an hour to go?
Well, so I was I had someone text me a picture and said, "I'm at a comic book shop. Look at this shit." And it was just 100 long boxes, as far as the eye could see, of comic books. There was on the wall. There was stuff in glass cases, and it was. I looked it up. It was the S. I don't even want to say what it is. I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to make them lose any business or anything.
Right.
Because it's awesome what they do. It's awesome that they still exist.
Right.
It was about 45 minutes away. It was in Greensburg.
Yep.
I took a trip right after I got to see the picture. I was pretty pumped to go down there. I got down there. It was awesome. Too much I had my wife and my child with me.
Yeah.
So, I had no time to just dig.
Right. Yeah.
I felt a little...
It's kind of a you and me trip kind of thing.
So, maybe we could go down there, because all the long boxes were $1
Ooh.
a piece.
Nice.
So, and I dug through a few of them, and there was some good stuff in there. I found a New Mutants 1987.
Damn.
and it was the one that I've always wanted. It was the issue with Demon Bear with the snow in the background with the Indian girl. I can't remember what her name is in the cover, and you see Demon Bear kind of shadowy in the background. And it was $4.
Oh, okay.
I ended up not getting it because I kind of got discouraged. I went to the left. They had a whole wall of complete volumes, like series. Yeah. The big book, paperback.
Right.
Brand new. All of them were brand new. And man, I got in front of that thing and I started pulling. I got Infinity Gauntlet, full complete. I got Planet Hulk, full complete. I'm pulling all these amazing ones. And there's no prices on them. Okay. And I'm like, I know they're probably going to be like 15, maybe $20. So I had the Demon Bear in my hand, and I had Planet Hulk, and I walked over to the guy, and I handed him Planet Hulk, and I said, "Can you give me a price on this?" And he goes, "Oh, well, it should be on the back."
A little barcode.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're full retail printed. That's what they're selling this for. So I turned it over. It's $34.99.
Whoa. Yeah.
So I looked at my wife and I'm like, "Hey, we're here. Would you be pissed at me if I dropped $35 on a comic book right now?" And she's like, "Just one?" And I said, "Well, it's a complete series. You're getting like Planet Hulk's probably like a 100-issue series or whatever. So you're getting the whole thing." And she goes, "Well, can't you just get that online for cheaper?" So she flips her phone out, looks up Planet Hulk, the exact one that I'm holding, brand new, $16 online. Yep. Looked up Infinity Gauntlet. They were selling Infinity Gauntlet for $25.99. Looked it on the line. It's like $12. Wow. So you instantly get that like, well, now I'm definitely not paying the money. Right. When I could have half the price to get the exact same thing. I just got to wait a few days. Yeah. So I put them back. And I stood there and I stared at Demon Bear for like 20 minutes, and then I put it back and I left. So it was kind of a waste of a trip. But my question is, like, should they be pricing retail?
Okay, so as coming from somebody who worked in retail, it's all about your markup, and it's all about making your money back. So yeah, they probably bought Planet Hulk and Infinity Gauntlet for probably $8 a piece as the retail shop. Right. But then they got to turn it around and make money. It's a dying industry. Right. So you kind of want to get all the money you can out of it, but at the same time,
you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Right. You're killing the industry because you're overcharging for comic books. And
I would love the experience of going to a comic book shop and buying Planet Hulk over ordering it online.
Of course.
I would pay a couple extra bucks. If it was like $18 and I saw it online for $16, I probably would have got it anyway.
Yeah, support your local, business. That's always good, and you get it physically right there. You don't have to wait for it. So I understand.
But for that big of a difference in price gap,
that's a huge markup. That's a really big markup.
I just couldn't do it.
I could not. Even if I was standing there, I couldn't do it. And even I went to FYE before they closed in Uniontown, and I found Thanos versus Deadpool. And it was like, it was 30% off, but it was, after 30% off, it's still $16. Right. So it started out in the 40s. And part of what I was thinking is things like the MCU driving the prices up on comics? Are comic book retailers looking at how popular the movies are, and, you have Infinity Gauntlet, that's your Infinity War right there.
Right. Maybe. But they're not the ones that were putting the prices on those books.
True.
Those were the prices that were on the barcode.
Printed, yeah.
That's what threw me off.
Oof.
That's what I'm looking at this book, and I never once thought, oh, look at the retail price on the bottom barcode. Yeah. Like, I was looking for a price tag on it, because I figured you're in a comic book shop, they probably have their own prices. Yeah. Like, you go to Cash and Culture, nothing in there. You're going to look at the barcode.
Well, Cash and Culture is different from a regular comic book shop, to where it's a trade kind of place. Like, they didn't buy those things for retail, so they can't charge retail. And a manufacturer's suggested retail price is not what it has to be. Like,
No,
if
they're
that
not.
comic book shop could bump the price down.
Those $1 comics in all of those long boxes, they were all in good shape, and there was some really good stuff in there, and they had dollar prices on them.
That's interesting.
So, I mean, I know you're only paying for one issue there.
Right.
So you have the debate of, you're paying $1 for a comic book. If you had the entire series and you paid $1 for each of them, you probably pay like $300 for the entire series.
Yeah, true.
But if you're buying a series book and you're only paying $34.99 for it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
just
agree.
seeing the price online, I ended up leaving empty-handed, and it felt weird. It felt weird driving 45 minutes to a place, so excited to buy some comic books, and then coming all the way home.
Did you grab some lunch while you were out? Nope. Didn't even do anything.
Lady and I got into a little tiff, and I was quiet the whole way home and drove quick.
It happens. It happens to the best of us. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how comic book shops are everywhere, and I don't know. Like,
This was a bigger one.
If a town had 2 comic book shops, would the prices be going lower as they're competing?
Right.
And I mean, like in our area, comic book shops are very few and far between.
Right.
So I got to think that, I mean, it's a specialty, so they are upping the prices crazy. So I don't agree with it.
I would expect them to at least down it a little bit.
Yeah, you
A
would
little
think.
bit.
You would
Don't
hope
go
so.
retail on the barcode. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I don't know. To me, that's especially if you have the long boxes right beside them,
Right.
and you're pricing them. On the wall behind the long boxes was all the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Ugh.
All the goody
I'm
gumdrops.
I'm looking at that top row.
You guys know.
I'm looking at the top row. Doctor Strange #1
Wow.
and Wolverine #1.
Whoa.
Oh, that Wolverine #1 will haunt me
Yeah, right?
forever.
How much was it?
$100.
Ha ha. I mean,
$100 for a Wolverine #1. It was in good shape.
If it's in good shape.
None of those were beat.
Really?
Not one of them. Colors were pristine. Everything was good about it, and that was the highest one I saw. Doctor Strange was only $60.
If I had an extra $100, totally would do it. Just saying.
That's why I just looked at it and went, one day, I will have the stability and inner strength to drop $100 on a comic book.
I know. Wait till that first bonus check I'm gonna get comes in, and I'll go get it.
Oh, there was some good stuff, man. There was a first appearance of the Scarlet Spider. That one was only like $30.
Wow.
Yeah, there was some good stuff.
Well,
Captain America, when he there was the issue where Spider-Man first tells Mary Jane that he's Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
There was some really good stuff.
I'd be looking for first appearances of villains, like first appearance of Doom and Galactus and all that cool shit.
And then as you went down, it was all issue #1s of, like, they had issue #1 of the new Fantastic Four and stuff like that.
Sweet.
So they had newer ones hanging up on the wall.
See, I'm gonna have to do some research and look around at comic book shops elsewhere and figure out if the prices are really as unfair everywhere as they are here. So, is this next topic, the Spider-Man, is that supposed to be in the comics?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, we could talk about it now just because it has to do with comics.
Okay.
This is just me thinking about Secret Wars.
Right.
And how it's not a great series.
Okay.
It was literally created to sell action figures.
Yeah. True.
It was a deal with Mattel or whatever toy company made that first run of.
What was it, Hasbro?
Hasbro. It was probably a deal with Hasbro where they would make all the action figures and they would come out with a miniseries to literally go with the action figures.
Okay.
Issue #8, Spider-Man's suit gets destroyed.
Right.
So they find a machine to create him a new suit, and it creates the black Spider-Man suit.
Right. Not the symbiote suit.
No, the symbiote suit was not written until Venom in like 92, 93.
Yeah.
So the original black suit was made for merchandise, advertising, and because black is cool.
Black is cool.
And that's my question. And this too, I guess it was a mail-in thing where they were asking for what Spider-Man's suit should be.
Okay.
And a kid wrote in and said what he wanted, and he won, and they did that. they used his idea, and they credited him in that issue, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. So basically, a kid said, "Make the suit black," and the artist who drew Spider-Man's job just became so much easier.
I know, right? He's black. That's it.
Like, and I just don't know what the big deal is. I understand that black is cool.
Yeah.
I understand that
I get it.
There's nothing to it, and there was no story behind it.
Right. All right, so if I'm saying, is Black Suit Spider-Man that cool or important?
Is he overrated?
Is he overrated? Yes. Is it cool? Yes. Is it important? No. And I think, of course I think it's cool. I mean, it's sleek. It's, it looks badass.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't care. Like you said, it
doesn't change anything.
Right, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make him better. It doesn't make him worse. It's just black-suited Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I think that the artist who was writing at the time, I can't remember the other two artists, but Todd McFarlane was involved. When they wrote the symbiote storyline, and they made it so that was why he had the black suit, was because of the symbiote. I think they were probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Like, this looks badass, but it's dumb because there's no story to it.
Right. And it's so flat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's another thing. Like, it's so aesthetically unappealing.
Yeah, the suit, the Spider-Man drawn in the Secret Wars with the black suit, there's nothing.
Yeah.
It literally looks like they outlined him and then clicked fill.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
a computer.
Yeah, that's really exactly what it seems like to me.
So yeah, I mean, and they definitely detailed him out a little bit more later on. They gave him the webbing lines and stuff to make it a little bit more detailed.
Contrast,
and stuff,
little be able to see things. Yeah,
but I just don't get what the big deal is. Like,
I
with
don't
all
get
this
it
talk
either.
with Venom, and why does he even look like that if he wasn't from Spider-Man? Having the suit first and all that stuff. And it's like, when are we gonna get to see black suit Spider-Man? I don't even care.
Right.
Why do we need to see black suit Spider-Man?
I don't care.
He wasn't all that cool in Spider-Man 2 or 3 or whatever that was.
Well,
Spider-Man 3.
that's not necessarily Spider-Man's fault.
But I mean, it didn't even look like that badass. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I remember seeing the poster of him hanging upside down in front of the glass.
Oh yeah.
And he had the black suit, and I was like, this is badass, but like...
That was the first teaser that we got.
Yeah,
the first teaser was, him looking upside down, looking in the skyscraper, and it was like, damn, that's cool, because it was the first time we'd seen it live action.
Sure.
So, of course, it's going to be cool the first time you see it, but after a while, it's like, well, I just don't care.
Right.
So, I don't know. Not that important.
Don't care.
I just don't care. New comic radar. You got anything on the radar? Not that you would know, because your phone's dead.
My phone's dead, and nope.
All right, well, let's jump into what has been turning out to be our meatiest section of the podcast is our rebranded Marvel news.
Yes.
And we're going Marvel news.
Oh, Marvel.
Wide Marvel news. So this past week, we had some cool stuff. Boom, right behind me. We had some cool stuff. We had the first images of Captain Marvel from the February Captain Marvel movie that will be coming out. What was it? Was it Entertainment Weekly were the ones that dropped the photos?
Yeah. That was the first thing I saw, was the cover
Yeah.
of Entertainment Weekly. Was Brie Larson front and center.
Yep.
Decked
Boom.
out in the Captain Marvel suit.
Yep.
Finally.
Blue and red. The way it should be. Blue, red, and gold.
You know what we haven't seen yet?
What's that?
It's her using her powers.
I know. I think that's the thing that they're holding off. And I think that's why we haven't gotten the trailer yet.
Yeah.
Like, we have not gotten a trailer
I know, they
yet.
showed that picture of her on the cover, like, kind of leaning forward with her suit on, and I'm like, give me some glowing eyes or some, like, laser around the face, or, like, her hair flowing or something. It just looks like Brie Larson standing there in the suit.
Yep.
Like, give me some Captain Marvel.
So what were your... After seeing the images, basically, we got to see Captain Marvel, we got to see the Skrulls, we got to see the Star Force, we got to see everything.
Yeah.
We got to see Ronan back.
Ronan the Accuser.
We got to see Sam Jackson.
Young Sam Jackson.
Yep. We got to see, so we got so much. What were your first impressions?
Like I said, I saw the magazine cover.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there were other pictures.
Okay.
Until later that day,
Yeah.
a video came up on my YouTube saying pictures, and I'm like, what the heck? And I watched it, and it showed all of them, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So, the Scrolls was the first picture I saw after,
They
and
look so good.
they look badass.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of complaints.
Yeah, I did too.
Saying that they looked like rubber, and they are.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Like, they're practical. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
you know, this is, like, post-production is not complete.
Yeah.
They're not going to look like that when the movie comes out.
Right. And a couple of images ripped from a magazine is different from what you're going to see in the theaters and at home and everything. But at the same time, like you said, it's practical. It's real makeup.
Right.
With, you know, and it looks good. And plus, I mean, as far as a rubbery kind of way goes, I would want them to look rubbery because they are shapeshifters.
Right.
Like, I want to see a Skrull face conform into a human face and not have to go through crazy, like, terrible CGI. Like, I want it to be so fluid
Right.
that it just looks fantastic.
Yeah, because it's going to have to. I
Yeah.
mean, this is a weird territory where we're starting to enter into Marvel.
Yeah.
And shapeshifters and stuff like that could very easily break their solid thing that they've built in the MCU. Like,
Right.
if it takes you out of the movie for even a second,
Right.
people are not going to let that go.
No.
They've built so much and so high that people are going to be tearing these movies apart from now on. If they did, you know, they already did, but
Well, I mean, yeah, they
even
already
more
did.
so now.
But that's, I mean, we're at next year will be the 11th year of the MCU, film number 20. And it's like, I mean, but it has to kind of start evolving into something far-fetched and shape-shifting aliens and all the cool stuff.
We're finally getting the cosmic that we always wanted.
That we always wanted.
Thanos was the entry. Well, Guardians was the entry into that, but
Right.
Thanos really broke
I'd say Guardians.
through the entirety into a whole.
Yeah, Guardians, and then Doctor Strange, and then a little Ant-Man, and then
Doctor Strange was still grounded on
It was
Earth,
still grounded
you know
on
what I mean?
Earth,
Like,
yeah.
it was just different dimensions.
Yeah.
There was no space.
Right, there was no beings except for Dormammu.
Yeah, but that even was a different dimension.
Yeah.
That wasn't like
It's
in a different planet or a different
True.
galaxy. That was
True.
actually a different
The dark dimension.
dimension, different realm.
So I was super like pumped,
Yes.
and like seeing the images, and the one disagreement that I had with the criticism of the photos, where everyone was like, "Oh, well, they're on a beach. They're just trying to make it look like Wonder Woman." Is no movie allowed to have a scene on a beach after Wonder Woman? I'm sorry. Is that what we're doing here?
I noticed that they were all on the beach. Like, after I looked at them a few times, I went, "Oh, okay." The Skrulls are walking up out of the water.
Yeah.
You see Ronan and them standing by the beach. They're meeting the Star Force is meeting them. So I just assume. I mean, 70% of the Earth is covered in water.
Right.
Their spaceship probably landed in water.
Well, that's what I said last
so they're
week.
walking up out of the ocean.
I said that last week when we talked about this. I mean, imagine a scene where you see a Skrull ship crash into the ocean, and then a minute later you see Skrulls walking up out of the ocean.
Ronan.
Like that's badass. Like that's sick. And it would be, and of course, if the Skrull ship landed in the ocean, then yeah, a lot of the interactions are going to take place on a beach because that's just the way it has to go.
Right.
But it's not
And that's
ripping
just,
off anybody.
That's two pictures
I know,
you saw
right?
out of a movie, out of almost probably a 3-hour long movie almost. So, I mean, and that looks like it's probably pretty early on.
Yeah.
She's wearing her
Turquoise
turquoise suit.
that's I think that's the Star Force uniform.
Right.
And then after she leaves the Star Force, she just has her Captain Marvel uniform, which is badass.
So those two pictures, we got a lot.
Yeah.
We got to see her team.
Yeah.
So we got to see the one dude coming back from
yeah,
Guardians
in the
who
beginning
was
of-
protecting the stone.
He's played by Jamanu Houston, I think is his name.
Badass actor.
Yeah, badass actor.
Good
He
to
was
see
in
him
Blood
back.
Diamond.
Yep.
We got to see him back, which is cool to see. It's actually cool to see him on Captain Marvel's side, because when we meet him in Guardians, you kind of get the feeling that he's a villain. But
I mean, he's protecting the stone.
right
Yeah, what's
after
he
we
doing
look
wrong?
back at it, it's like, maybe he's not a villain. He's probably a good guy. So
Right.
that's really cool to see.
Yes. We got to see Ronan.
Yep.
So
and I'm so happy Ronan's
so
back.
stoked because he's such a badass villain.
Yeah.
Who a lot of badass villains kind of get the shitty end of the deal.
Yeah,
in Marvel movies.
that's the Marvel villain treatment, is that they get great actors to play great parts and then they go nowhere. And that's just the problem. I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I mean, but when you've got such talented actors doing nothing, then it becomes kind of a problem.
Agreed. I mean, I don't know who played Dormammu, but
You know who did the voice for Dormammu?
no.
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
That's weird.
Mind blown? Mind blown.
But he's a great, huge villain. He was kind of like a Galactus.
Yeah. No, he was what Galactus should have been.
No, he was what Galactus was.
Yeah.
We wanted to see a gigantic man with a purple helmet, but we got a smoke
guy.
cloud lightning outline.
Yeah.
And we wanted to see Dormammu, but we got like a floating
Head.
face in space.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
They have a problem with really big
I know.
villains.
I think,
After a certain size, they're like, nope.
Yeah, right.
We're not doing it.
We can't. We don't have the technology.
Getting rid of his body.
We're getting
Make
rid
his head float.
Nobody. Nobody. So I think
Great to see Ronan back.
great to see Ronan back, and he was such a badass character in Guardians Volume 1.
You made him a little bitch,
Right.
Because he was working for Thanos.
He
and
did
they
have
wanted
that-
to build Thanos up.
He did have that part where he snapped the neck of the other, which was fucking sweet.
Yeah. Oh, he had some good parts in that
Yeah.
movie. I'm not saying that he didn't have his good parts, but it always got overshadowed by the fact of Thanos because they were building who Thanos was up,
Right.
trying to make him.
I feel
Who
like
they did.
well, and Guardians was our first real introduction to Thanos. I mean, yeah, we got to
like
see
a decent scene with him
right
in a conversation.
We got to see. I mean, there was the one where the other's talking to him, and he turns around and smiles. You're courting death, and he just turns around and smiles, and then that was it until Guardians. And
Did you ever notice that line is like a nod?
a nod to Lady Death.
To Lady
yeah,
Death.
of course.
Badass.
And it's cool how they didn't go through with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's,
Thank God.
right. Like
would've
it's
been
like if they
terrible.
would have, if the whole Infinity War would have boiled down to Thanos trying to impress a lady, I feel like the movie would have failed
Oh yeah.
miserably.
Oh yeah.
So, good for that. How long until we get the trailer?
From what I read yesterday, within the next week.
I hope.
I think I heard next week.
Well, aren't we in the middle of a Comic-Con right now? Isn't New York Comic-Con going on right now? I feel like
I
it
think
is.
it's
or it's over.
It
might have
was
been
either
last.
this past weekend or this coming weekend.
Right.
I'm not sure.
So I feel like that's either going to be a really good place for it to happen.
But I heard next week.
Sweet.
So
I'm honestly.
I mean, usually when they drop pictures like this in a bigger magazine,
right.
trailer's right behind.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do a trailer last night during the premiere of Monday Night Football. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that would have, because ESPN's owned by ABC, which is all owned by Disney, which is all Marvel.
Right.
So you have a perfect platform. You have half the country watching because it's the first Monday Night Football game of the year. So I feel like that should have been it. But I mean, whatever. I'll wait a little bit.
Well, we got the
longer.
pictures. What? Actually, we got them a while ago.
We got them Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah. So I think they kind of got to let Entertainment Weekly make some money.
Okay. All right.
They got to sell some magazines on the racks,
Fine.
and then they'll give you the trailer.
Do people still buy magazines?
I don't know. I mean,
I can't tell.
One person buys it, scans it, puts it on the internet, and then the rest of the world has it. So,
Yeah.
or you just have a digital subscription.
Yeah, which it's much more common nowadays.
Right.
So Captain Marvel, get excited because
We got Sammy Jackson.
we got Sammy Jackson looking
Two
young as
eyes.
hell. 2 eyes, full head of hair.
And
Sammy
you
Jackson.
know what I want to say about this? Holy crap, are they getting good? Like, young Leia
Yeah.
was bad.
Yeah.
It was god-awful,
Yep.
creepy.
Agreed.
Moff Tarkin
Yep.
was getting there.
Getting a little creepy.
shiny for me.
Oh yeah.
But it looked better. He looks like a young Samuel Jackson.
No,
they got everything.
What do young Sam Jackson compared to, in the Marvel universe, we had young Michael
I'm
Douglas.
gonna say we had a young Tony Stark too.
We had a young Tony Stark. We had, and we also had a young Kurt Russell as Ego of the Living Planet.
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
Was the best looking?
Yeah.
I think Kurt Russell looks the
Ego?
best so far.
Yeah.
I think Samuel L. Jackson definitely tops that.
Really?
But I think Robert Downey Jr. still had some some weirdness going on.
It was
with his face.
It was too weird in the face, and plus it was too weird where they had actual Tony Stark come up right behind him, because then you can see how
comparison,
bad it looks.
yeah.
Right. And what was the other one I just said? Young Michael Douglas.
Which one was Michael Douglas?
Hank Pym.
Oh yeah, we did have a young one in that. I don't know if I've seen that enough to.
I think that
I only
was
watched
the best.
Ant-Man once, maybe twice.
I think that was the best one. And then Ego, and then we'll see how Sam Jackson.
Did the Guardians
plays out.
2 come out after that?
Yeah, Guardians 2 was out after Ant-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
So
I still think they're definitely progressing as they do this.
Oh yeah,
this younger.
yeah. I
age
mean,
thing.
and not and if they can perfect the technology, then I'm fine with it. I'm okay. I don't hate it. And plus, it is that way of providing cool backstories for the older characters that you have. I mean,
right.
you can't.
You can never do that before,
right?
unless you actually got a person to play that character, and you never accept it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not actually them, and they don't actually. I mean, look at the dude that they got to play Han Solo.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he
Alden
did bad or
Ehrenreich.
anything, but he doesn't look
like Han Solo.
He doesn't look like Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Right.
We know what Harrison Ford looked like when he was young, so you can't tell me that that's him when he was younger. You know
Agreed.
what I mean? Like.
Agreed. Plus, we never got the story about the chin scar. So.
Did old Nick Fury have in that picture? Doesn't he have a scar or something?
I didn't notice.
I just glanced at that one, but I could have swore there was a scar on his face, and I thought, wonder why he's got a scar, but he still has his eye.
I mean, he's a warrior.
Yeah, it's true.
So, he's a sergeant.
And then what was the other random one? We got a picture of Brie Larson in her jet suit crawling out of a jet.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, I think that's going to be really cool to see that backstory about Captain Marvel. I think that's going to be really interesting. So, I'm very excited about that.
Did you see that because Guardians is not canceled, but on hold. Right. We might get a Nova movie sooner than later.
Oh, really? Did not hear about that.
I think I read that Kevin Feige's looking into characters he kind of pushed off because he had his plate full. Right. But now he has this big open gap.
He's got a room.
I heard that Nova, since he's kind of already there. Well, the character's not there, but everything that the ingredients.
The Nova Corps is or was there.
Right.
And if the Nova Corps is now destroyed, as we should obviously believe it to be,
right,
then it would be a perfect time for
Thanos lies.
For Nova to make an appearance. Maybe come out. Maybe he's already Nova and he was away while it happened, or maybe that was like the last thing they were able to do was to send it down to Earth to get Nova.
Right.
So I think it would be cool if they did it to where Nova was already a person and he comes back to find Xandar destroyed. But isn't that kind of what you're doing with Captain Marvel?
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's just they're trying to find a place to go. Yeah. Since they don't have the Guardians right now.
It's terrible that they don't have the Guardians.
So, I mean, and everybody wanted to see Nova.
Yeah.
I
still want to see Nova.
Yeah, it'd still be badass to see him.
Right. You don't know much about him.
I don't know much about him, and what I do know about him, meh.
Right.
He's not a character that I would have ever been into anyway.
See, that's kind of how I feel about Moon Knight. Is like
what?
I'm not.
It's so sick.
I know he's like a Egyptian Batman. I get it, but it's cool, man.
He's like an Egyptian Batman.
He is like an Egyptian Batman.
Except for he's in New York.
He is in New York,
but he is Egyptian, isn't he?
Well, I think the artifact that turns him into Moon Knight is Egyptian.
Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he is Egyptian.
Max Bemis is writing the run of Moon Knight right now.
Oh yeah. Huh. There you go. So there's your Marvel news. So I'm going to call it the old thing. Marvel news.
News.
Marvel news. DC news. Do we have anything? I don't think we have anything.
Thank God.
I know, right? Isn't it such a task to talk about DC? All right, and so...
Anybody get DC Universe? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, is that out yet?
I don't know.
It
Did anybody pre-order it? I heard
September
that you're
15th.
also getting like exclusive like figurines and statues
Really?
and shit too
It comes out this week.
when you pre-order.
Huh. Maybe I'll have to pre-order tomorrow. Get that figurine style.
So I heard somebody was saying something about an exclusive. I can't remember what statue it was of what character.
It's probably Batman.
It was something like
probably
Batman.
effing
It was probably
Batman.
Batman, but it
Ugh.
looked sick. And,
I'm sick
and then
of
they said
Batman.
something about the only. Oh, I was watching Toy Galaxy
Okay.
on YouTube, and he was talking about this one action figure that he really liked, but the only way you could get it was pre-ordering the DC Universe, and he said he wouldn't do that.
I know, right? I don't want to. I mean, I want to pre-order to get those 3 months free, so I can just cancel my thing after that. But like, I kind of want to wait until it shakes out and get the bugs worked out and get everything kind of better, and then figure out what I'm committing to. Am I doing month to month, or am I committing to a damn ass
To a year. That's what they're trying to push. It seems like they want people to do the year.
Ugh, I just don't want to do the year.
And isn't it in their best interest
To go month to month?
to go month to month?
Yeah.
Like, they make more money that way. Why
Right.
are they trying to lock everyone into the year and then
No one's
they
going to
don't
do
make
it.
any money
Right,
the rest
yeah.
of the
No one
year?
wants to spend $132 on DC whatever for the year. No one wants to do that. Or maybe somebody does. I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
people have.
Ugh.
I'm sure when it comes out, we'll hear that they did well and
Stupid
made some
Batman.
monies.
Stupid Batman. All right, so next up we have a little bit of sad news to report. Last week, at the age of 82, Burt Reynolds passed away.
Mustaches unite
Yeah, that was,
and mourn.
So Burt Reynolds, if you don't know who Burt Reynolds is, well, what the hell's wrong with you?
The Bandit.
The Bandit stars such films as Smokey and the Bandit, Cannonball Run, Kindergarten Cop. Not Kindergarten Cop. What was that movie called? No, that was Schwarzenegger. What was the cop movie?
Kindergarten Cop.
What was the cop movie that Reynolds did?
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. But, I mean, Burt Reynolds, he was in Boogie Nights. He's been in everything.
He was in Boogie Nights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Passed away at the age of 82. He wasn't looking too well on the
Mark
on his
Wahlberg
way
in
out.
Boogie Nights?
Yeah. Mark Wahlberg plays Dirk Diggler.
What's
or
the chick's
Dick.
name?
Oh, I don't know.
Going from Austin Powers.
Yeah. Elizabeth Hurley?
Yep.
Yep. Boom.
Bam.
Got it.
No.
Did it. No.
No, Elizabeth Hurley was in Austin Powers 1.
Oh, you're
Austin
talking about...
Powers 2, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Oh, Heather Graham.
Heather Graham
Heather
was in Boogie
Graham.
Nights.
Heather-
Pretty sure you get to see her tatas in that. Man.
Hey, that's okay with me. Burt Reynolds, born February 11th, 1936 in Lansing, Michigan. I mean, and you know where he died? He died in Jupiter, Florida. How proper for a man that epic to die in Jupiter. But
Living
yeah,
out his days naked on a bear rug.
I figure that was it. Like, I would hope so, you know. I can't hope for anything else. And like, Smokey and the Bandit's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
You've always loved Burt.
I love that movie. I love Burt Reynolds. You know,
That's why I saw it and I instantly thought of you. I
Yep.
saw he died and I went, oh, Anthony's probably
I was.
shedding a tear right now.
I was.
Got a tear rolling down his mustache.
I did. Did I skip over what I was looking for?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
What were you looking for?
I was looking for what I think I have right here. Okay, yeah. So Burt Reynolds he's got like a million movies in his repertoire. All Dogs Go to Heaven. He was
in all.
Yeah,
He was
it
the
was
voice.
Charlie B. Barkin.
Yeah.
Rent-A-Cop is what I was thinking of. Heat. Cannonball Run 2. He did three of the four Smokey and the Bandits, which after one it kind of gets terrible. You know, Boogie Nights. You've got the new stuff like Mystery Alaska he was in. We've got Without a Paddle, The Longest Yard. He was in both Longest Yards. He was, you know...
I didn't even know there was a second one.
There was the Adam Sandler's remake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was
I
in
didn't know
that.
there was a first one.
Oh, well, yeah, there was. You know, and this is just...
Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken.
I love being Burt. Being Burt.
And he has a movie coming out... I think it came out this year, or it's coming out, called Defining Moments. And then he's also...
It's like anytime an actor dies, they always have a movie that's already filmed.
Yeah, right?
Like, do they just do that on purpose?
I think they do.
I always got to have one under your belt just in case you croak.
Yeah.
Because it's going to make more money than any movie you ever made.
Archer, American Dad, My Name is Earl, Duck Dodgers, Robot Chicken, The King of Queens,
Duck Dodgers,
Ed, The X-Files, Universal Soldier 3, Unfinished Business, Universal Soldier 2, Brothers in Arms.
I remember Universal Soldier, but I don't know 3 or 2.
He was in King of the Hill. He was, he was in Sybil. Beverly Hills 90210. Basically anything you could think of, Burt Reynolds was in it. I feel like, I think I said this on Twitter the day he passed. In an era of men, he was the king.
Oh, man.
Like, there was no one sexier than Burt Reynolds. All the women wanted, all the men wanted to be him, and all the women wanted to be with him. Like, that's Burt fucking Reynolds.
Burt fucking Reynolds.
Burt fucking Reynolds. So, Burt Reynolds, we here at the Strange Planet Podcast, thank you for everything you've done. I hope you're not watching this, because that would scare me. But here's to you, buddy.
Could be.
He could be. Who knows what they're watching up there?
You can watch whatever the hell they want.
Burt Reynolds.
Free cable up there, man.
So, all right, next up we have some news from The Predator.
Oh. Yeah, I just copied and pasted what you sent me.
Yeah,
I didn't even, because I was like...
So Olivia Munn, who stars in the new Predator movie, took it upon herself to out a castmate who is a registered sex offender. Okay, so...
I got a question. I got some questions.
Go ahead. Question me up.
Because I didn't read anything about it.
Okay.
You sent that to me, and that's all I got.
Right.
Did she... How did she find out?
See, that's interesting.
Did she, just randomly get on a list and then go, hey, I work with that guy?
It could have been to where the person who he acted against maybe brought it to light, and she brought it to her light, and, that kind of thing.
I thought it would be a little weird to just, like I don't know if anybody around me is a sex offender because I don't look into it. You know
maybe maybe Olivia Munn is the kind of person who researches the people she works with, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're making a Hollywood movie. You want to kind of be sure of what you're doing. Plus, it's kind of the scene that they were doing. It was her and this guy, and this guy's only scene.
Maybe he had said some weird stuff to her.
Well, his role was persistent jogger. So while she's jogging, he is being persistent into trying to do whatever. So maybe she kind of got thrown off by something, the way he was acting. Got a vibe. So she outed him. The scene was cut.
Yeah.
And
right away.
they will not right away. Which I said to you, I applaud Fox for their quick, just no discussions, nothing.
Didn't make it a big deal on the internet. They just went, oh, okay, gone,
gone. So apparently, what this man had done was interactions with a minor, which is what I read. So I'm not defending anyone, but I'm posing a question. Is that okay? Did this man serve his time?
Okay,
repay his pay his debt to society for what he did, and he's a registered sex offender, and that will follow him around forever.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But does that mean that he shouldn't work?
No, and honestly, when you sent that to me, that was one of the first things that I went through my brain, and then I went, man, if I said that on the internet or on the podcast, I'd probably get torn to shreds.
Well, I'm not, like I said.
Because everybody is very judgmental on the internet
Like
nowadays.
I said, I am not defending anybody in their actions. I'm going to look you guys right in the face and tell you this. I'm not defending anybody in their actions. I'm not saying it's okay to have relations with a minor. I'm not saying that this man should be allowed to do whatever he wants. But what I am posing the question of is that if a person pays their debt to society, and he's going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of his life, that's already happening. Should that stop him from working?
Unfortunately, no matter what you do, especially in those types of situations, it's going to affect everything that you do for the rest of your life. I mean, going to jail, you can't. It's hard to get a job.
Yeah.
Because they look at your record.
Right.
Does it
I
mean
mean,
that you shouldn't ever work again? No, because you're pushing them back into things that they probably are trying to get away from. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I always say that about like people who don't have jobs and steal, or or assault someone to steal their purse or get
Sell
money,
drugs,
or sell drugs, anything like that. They go to jail, do their time, get back out, and start trying. And now it's harder for them than ever to get the job, to become a normal citizen.
Right.
So you're basically pushing them right back into the ways that they were.
Exactly. And it's funny because I was watching Last Week Tonight with John Oliver last night on HBO Go, which we're going to talk about that in here in a little bit. But the meat of the show was, should people convicted of felonies have their voting rights taken away? Because right now in Florida, it's in the entire United States, there's 6.1 million people who cannot vote because they were convicted of a felony. Now, whether it be drug related,
Right.
I mean, that's a different thing. But like murder, sex crimes, that's kind of a different level. And that's kind of where we are right now. I applaud Olivia Munn for doing this, and I applaud Fox for cutting his scene, because you don't want the movie to come out and then be known as the movie with the sex offender in it.
Right.
You don't want to do that.
I also feel like it's as you're kind of saying, it's something that wouldn't have been a problem if something specific didn't happen to her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like something had to have happened between those two during this, especially because of how long. Like, they're done filming it.
Yeah, they were done filming.
It's
Trailers
been
were
done
being
for
released.
a long time.
Right.
It's coming out.
Right.
And now this happens, they pulled the scene. So
Right.
I feel like something had to have happened between the two of them to cause her to look into it, to bring it to everyone's attention.
Right. Now,
I don't think it would have if that wouldn't have happened.
is it a bad thing that Fox hired the guy in the first place?
No.
Is the court of public opinion something that we should be relying on?
No.
So there's
I am 100% against that.
Right.
You know my take on that.
Yeah.
Like, people on the internet think that they are judge, jury, and executioner, and it should happen now.
Yeah.
And there should be no debate about it.
Right.
There should be no judges. There should be no courts. There should be no police. It should be Facebook.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah.
That's how people feel.
And
that drives me nuts.
And I mean, we just went through this with James Gunn.
Yeah.
To where he did stuff years ago that he's not proud of, and he apologized for it, and he repented, and he became a better person, but yet he still lost his job for what happened years ago. And it's like, we can't defend James Gunn and not defend this guy. Can we?
This is different.
This is different?
This is different. He is a sex offender. He
right.
is
He
on a
wasn't-
registered list.
Right.
He did go to prison for it.
Yeah.
James Gunn made a joke
Right.
on a social
Albeit
media.
a bad one. It was a bad joke.
Yeah,
right.
it's very distasteful. It was not good.
Right.
But it is a joke. You have free speech.
True.
You can say what you want as long as it's not threatening another person or a specific person or race or whatever. You can say whatever you want on your social media.
Ugh.
Whether it be what things he said or not, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
He didn't go to prison for it.
No.
He didn't get in trouble for it.
No.
I think that's very different.
Okay. All right. Well,
I mean, and he did apologize for it anyways.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't think he should have lost his job. I do think that if someone felt uncomfortable with what was happening on set of this movie, and they did bring up something that was actually brought to a court, and he was found guilty, then that's their call.
Yeah.
That's their call whether they want that on them.
Agreed.
Association.
Right. Like I said, I applaud Fox. I applaud Olivia Munn. and I'm not, like, I want to say this one more time before we end this topic. I'm not defending this guy. I'm not saying it's okay to have relations with a minor. I'm not doing that. I'm just posing a question from two sides of a
Does
coin.
rehabilitation and ever really mean anything?
Exactly.
Does it ever?
Well, right. And
take away
I feel
what
like
you
I'm
did?
saying this because of the John Oliver spot I watched last night, to where it's like people, you're told you do something wrong, you go to jail, you pay your debt, you re-enter society and become a person again. But at the same time, you're not allowed to fully.
Right.
And you have so many hurdles that you have to leap. And so like I said, not defending anybody's actions.
That's
just
a very
posing
hard
It's a hard topic
to discuss, because there's two completely different sides of it. As a person who owns a business, as an employer, you want that knowledge. You don't you don't want someone in your business who has done certain things, then you should be able to know that.
Would Fox...
But being in the other person's shoes, who has gone through it and who has been rehabilitated and wants a job to try again and wants a second chance, it's
a big coin that, and this is kind of a little... I mean, if it wasn't for the underlying topics of a Predator movie and Olivia Munn, we probably wouldn't be talking about this.
No,
because this is not the kind of things that we do on this show. But I feel like it's just the kind of question that has to be posed. Yeah. So, just want to say that.
Agreed.
Let's move on. Next up, At Eternity's Gate trailer.
Did you watch it?
No. I just got this list today, and then I was working all day.
Willem Dafoe.
Is that the whole last thing, is At Eternity's Gate trailer, and then Strange Murder Zone in the Yellowstone?
HBO.
Well, yeah, I want to do that last.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's all just one thing?
Yep.
Okay.
No.
So tell me, no.
Strange has nothing to do with
okay,
the
good.
trailer.
Okay, all right.
That's the Weekly Strange.
Oh, okay.
We got a Weekly Strange this week.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What?
We haven't had one in a while.
So tell me about the At Eternity's Gate trailer.
I watched Film Select trailers. I watch that every week. They show you... It's one video where they show you all the new trailers.
25 minutes long, yeah, right.
That came out that week.
I've seen it.
Bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
A lot of garbage.
Right?
And then the last one really pulled me in, and I had no idea what was going on. A very distraught Willem Dafoe playing his heart out. Like,
really?
It looks amazing. And halfway through, as he's talking to a priest, and it looks like he was in prison or he's in an insane asylum or something. Okay. And he's talking to this priest, and the priest is asking him all these questions about, like, does he feel disconnected to the world and everything? And he says that he feels like God has given him the gift of painting, but it's not a gift, it's a curse, because it's the only thing he can do.
Ah.
And as soon as he said that, I was like, oh shit, this is about what's the painter?
Van Gogh?
Van Gogh. This is about Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And then, like, 3/4 of the way through the trailer, it shows a picture of the human anatomy, and he's taking a dotted line down across the ear, and then the next one, he's got no ear, and they're putting him in an insane asylum and stuff.
Really?
And it looks...
So it's a Van Gogh biopic.
It's a biopic about Van Gogh with Willem Dafoe playing Van Gogh.
Wow.
And it looks amazing.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's got the priest that's doing all the questioning is the villain from Doctor Strange.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So them two are in, like, a ton of scenes together, like, just talking about who he is and why he feels the way he does and so discusted to the world and everything. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Looks
Willem
badass.
Dafoe and Mads Mikkelsen in a Vincent Van Gogh biopic. I'll have a ticket, please.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm pretty pumped
cool.
for that.
I'm gonna go home and watch this trailer now.
Yeah.
And, like, watch it 6 times.
Looks
like,
really badass.
That sounds amazing.
I haven't seen a movie trailer for a really good movie that has nothing to do with
superheroes,
space, or books,
aliens,
or video games, or anything like that. Yeah. Like, anything that already exists.
Right.
Like, I know he existed, and it is his life.
But we never had, like, a badass...
Looks like it's really well written, and the acting looks...
Who's directing?
I did not see who was directing.
Let's look. Let's check it out.
Yeah, it shows him, like, just traveling alone. Like, he spends years alone with a canvas just in the wilderness and stuff, and shows him just going crazy painting and stuff, and I was like, man.
God. Directed by Julian Schnabel. The Academy Award nominated director of The Diving Bell and the Butterfly.
I think it's a foreign film.
Yeah, I think it's mostly foreign. I mean, Oscar Isaac's in it.
Oh yeah, Oscar Isaac is his like. Was Van Gogh gay?
It might be from that era where it's ambiguous.
It shows in like a scene real quick, like him and Van Gogh seem like they're like really good friends.
Yeah.
Like it's his only friend.
Right.
And they're talking, and then I could have swore there was a scene where it flashed real quick of them laying together in bed.
Now it's interesting.
But I don't know much about Van Gogh, so.
What's interesting is that it's being distributed by CBS Films, which I did not know was a thing.
I did not know that either.
So yeah, we've got. What do we got? Oscar Isaac plays Paul Gauguin, who is a French post-impressionist artist.
Okay, so they're...
Unappreciated until after his death, Gauguin is now recognized for his experimental use of color and synthesis style that were distinctly different from Impressionism. Towards the end of his life, he spent 10 years in French Polynesia. Most of the paintings doesn't say anything about his...
Yeah, I don't know if I just misinterpreted something real fast that was in the trailer. Like I said, I only watched it once, and I mean, I'm probably gonna watch it again because I'd like to see the movie.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
Yeah, I totally want to see the movie.
I haven't seen a movie with Willem Dafoe in a minute.
I know that's the thing. Like Willem Dafoe is that kind of actor who is like just not doing things or waiting until the right thing comes along.
Something he wants to do that he's gonna knock out of the park.
So, I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, we'll have to just wait and find out from the movie.
Yep.
So that's cool. At Eternity's Gate, check out the trailer on YouTube where you are watching the Strange Planet podcast. Don't stop watching the podcast to go watch the trailer. Wait till after the trailer and then go watch the podcast, of course. Of course. And I'll watch it too. We can watch it together. So that's cool. Willem Dafoe. I love it. Next up, we have our main event of the episode.
The main event.
HBO. Does it boast better content for streaming?
HBO boasts. They say.
Oh, they say.
They said.
Okay.
In an article on the internet.
Okay.
That they have better original content than all.
We're talking original
yes.
content. Okay.
Their original content is better than Netflix,
Hulu,
Amazon Prime,
Crackle, whatever.
all those.
I agree.
Okay.
100%. I was thinking about this today.
I don't know what's on HBO that is anything special.
The Wire, Ball. Yeah, see that's the thing.
I don't have it.
Right. You
so
don't. Yeah.
know.
I mean, how much HBO have you watched over the years?
Probably just things that have come to my attention.
Right.
That somebody told me.
You've
to watch,
got
like
Ballers, Entourage, Veep, the Newsroom. You've got Game of Thrones. You've got like all this cool shit, and I have HBO Go, so I have access to every single HBO original series forever, and I can watch them all.
Okay.
And I have to say this, they do have better content.
And that was the question I was wondering was that it's a big boast. It's a high.
No, it really is, especially in today's day and age with all the streaming services and the content that comes out on like Netflix releases like 8 things a month for their original section.
I mean, Amazon's
been stepping it up.
Have they? Because most of their original content is pretty subpar for me. It's not that it's bad.
Right.
Like Netflix is hit or miss.
Yeah.
It could either really be bad or it could be pretty good.
Yeah.
Once in a while you get those ones where you're like, I don't know if that was good or not.
Yeah.
But not very often.
I'll say this. I think Hulu's original content is better than Netflix because it has more heart and more meat and more depth. And they have some great shows like Castle Rock and 11/22/63.
People talk about like House of Cards and
that's great. That's a great show too. That's a great show too.
They do have heavy hitters.
But Netflix definitely has heavy hitters, but a lot of the other streaming services might have more heavy hitters.
Disenchanted just came out.
HBO Go, or well, let's just say HBO as a whole, because you can have HBO Go or HBO Now for their streaming content. They do have better.
I feel like HBO they've been around way longer than any of these streaming services. They have the time build up. They know what they're doing a little bit more.
Yep.
They have the money to sink into individual pieces. Like, I mean, Game of Thrones is one of like the biggest shows in the world.
Right. There's a show called High Maintenance, which is about a drug dealer, and that's it. And it's so funny, and it's amazing. They have Eastbound and Down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I will agree with HBO Go. They have the superior content.
There you have it.
Said it right.
Anthony says it.
I said it, so it's
it
true.
Is.
Come at me, bro. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the Weekly Strange.
Oh, yeah.
We're stranging it up. Corey, why don't you tell us about the Weekly Strange?
So, I heard there's a movie called The Edge. Did you ever hear that? I don't know. It came out in the early 90s, maybe late 80s. But there's a movie called The Edge. It was based on a paper written by a professor, a law professor, in Michigan State.
Okay.
About...
He went to Michigan State at the
professor.
College.
No, some law...
Like Michigan State's...
Yeah, law
okay.
Something. I don't know. I don't know the insane dig down details. I just read it real quick.
Insane dig down details.
Dig down details.
I like that. But
he wrote a paper about a 50-mile square little spot, 50 acres, 50 miles, I don't remember, in the middle of Yellowstone National Park.
I would say acres if it's in Yellowstone Park.
Because Yellowstone National Park spreads through 3 different states.
Right.
Idaho.
California.
Wyoming.
In Wyoming.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wisconsin? I don't know.
No, it's not Wisconsin.
Not Wisconsin. 3 states.
There's hard to find jurisdiction.
Well, the jurisdiction, because it's a federal reserve, a national park, it is federal jurisdiction. But because it is spread over 3 states, the law that was written for it or whatever was written for it, the federal government gave the jurisdiction to one state. Specifically.
Okay.
But that one spot, I guess, somehow doesn't fall under any of those 3 jurisdiction, and because the federal gave their jurisdiction over to that one state, that one spot has no laws.
Really?
At all. It is like it can actually be proven by law that there is no rules in this one spot in the middle of the wilderness.
Wow.
So, in this movie, I guess, this guy convinces someone to go on a camping trip with him, and he takes him to that spot, and he murders him, and then they can't prosecute him for it. And then people found out this movie was actually based on a paper that was actually written and is actually a real thing. And it is still true to this day that this spot has no jurisdiction. There's no laws. It is like the true Wild West that is still left in the United States. You could literally go there right now, and I'm sure they'd still probably do something to you.
If you
and they'd be like, I don't care that you found a loophole in our laws.
Right. If you go to that spot and slit a polar bear's throat, I'm sure they're gonna do something to you.
How would you get the polar bear there?
Ice truck, like a truck
through the middle of the wilderness,
yeah.
Yellowstone National Park, you're just driving an ice truck down through the woods.
Damn straight I am. Hey,
with a polar bear.
If I'm doing that, I'm gonna do it right.
Slam into a tree, get out, open the door, polar bear falls.
If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. That's all I'm saying.
You can't do anything to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, I read this thing about it, and I was
you know what? That's not crazy. That's strange.
Very strange.
Very strange. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yellowstone.
You want to go camping?
Yeah. No. Maybe. I'm gonna kill you
We
first.
could have our own little purge.
I'm gonna murder you first before you murder
That's
me.
what I'm saying. We could have a purge. We could take like a group
2-man
of people.
purge. Oh, okay.
And we all have to stay in our own tents, but we'll set a time.
It'll be like the dangerous game.
We're just go balls to the wall.
I love it.
And murder all of our own friends.
Oh, that's all right. I can make more friends. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, This has been the Strange Planet Podcast. We have been your hosts. This has been
Corey James.
And I've been Anthony Zevoteck. Have a strange day.